Terry Bogard, the legendary Hungry Wolf, is a big deal right now, and even if you don't play fighting games, chances are you've heard at least something about this legacy figure in gaming history. He's been the leading star and has been a featured guest in well over 30 fighting games and has countless appearances in other genres as well. And right now, he's probably hotter than he's ever been before. But why? What makes this trucker hat wearing superpowered Street Fighter such a popular standout in the video game scene? Fortunately for you, I happen to be the world's #1 Terry fangirl. Alice Garnett Nakata be damned, Terry's my man, and over the next 6 months, I'm gonna fill the internet with so many Terry Bogard videos that the Google algorithm isn't gonna know what to do. There's gonna be a bunch more, but so you gotta imagine, like, you know, a few more pops, a few pop, 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 pop. But I don't have any more thumbnails ready, so this is all you get. Anyway, I'm currently producing an entire retrospective series covering the legendary Hungry Wolf's entire video game career, starting with his origins in Fatal Fury 1 and leading all the way up to the release of Fatal Fury City of the Wolves next April. But before we get to my huge retrospective series, before we get to sink our Hungry Wolf teeth into a fatally furious superpowered street fighting knuckle sandwich, we're going to get to play Terry in a series that he's always been closely related to: Street Fighter. Terry's at the very least a long-lost stepchild from Street Fighter's origins, considering that both Street Fighter and Fatal Fury were dreamed up by the same creative mind, Takashi Nishiyama. He was a game developer in the early 90s who worked at Capcom when they produced the ultra janky OG Street Fighter, before he went to work for the SNK Corporation where he produced the first Fatal Fury. Terry joining the Street Fighter roster is almost like a homecoming in a way, and you can tell by the teasers that Capcom feels the exact same way, considering how much love they're giving to the first mainline guest fighter. Not only faithfully recreating both of his iconic designs, but also showing respect to his unique fighting style by including all of his signature special techniques with only a few minor variations for the sake of balancing. He even gets one over on all the other Capcom fighters during his fight intros, with each costume triggering a unique animation upon his entrance to the arena. And can we talk about this Street Fighter 6 arena? It's arguably the best one I've seen in the game, littered with cameos from Fatal Fury and full of vibrant animations like a callback to SNK's mastery of detailed pixelized background sprites from their legacy library. Terry's truly getting the royal treatment, which makes sense considering he was the very first King of Fighters. Ever since he Hans Gruber Geese Howard off that tower back in 1991 at the end of the first Fatal Fury.
That's not a hostage.
Which was no easy task, mind you. Classic SNK arcade fighters were brutally unforgiving and extremely abusive with their input reading, to a point that will make you rage with Fatal Fury about how many quarters the machine is eating. And yeah, I know, according to the lore, it wasn't the first King of Fighters tournament in the SNK chronology. That's supposed to be the Art of Fighting. But you know what? Fighting game lore is filled with plot holes and wacky paranormal sci-fi crap anyways. The way I see it at this point, it's all kayfabe, like pro wrestling. The storylines are just stage performances that add stakes to the superpowered street fights for the audience, or in this case, the player, but at the end of the play session, the fighters go back to the locker room and they live their daily lives until the next show, or in this case, game. Okay, now that I've upset all the lore purists, that's right, I know what I did. I love SNK lore too, especially the early stuff, but you gotta admit that even by Fatal Fury 3, the plot was getting off the rails, with ancient warlords and scrolls of immortality. And don't even get me started on the lore for the KOF franchise. Even the Orochi saga was crudely conceived and even rougher on the execution than anything before it. I don't even want to talk about what's going on in right now. I mean, but talk about, you know, ancient demons and scrolls of immortality was one thing. Now we got interdimensional time warping space monsters and such. No wonder Terry's officially replaced Kyo as #1 SNK good boy. Terry's got a solid foundation as a standalone character with a relatable story. Kyo's been force-fed as the chosen hero via marketing, not storytelling. Hell, Mai Shiranui and Ryo Sakazaki have more character and popularity than Kyo from what I can tell. You see what's happening here? I'm getting way ahead of myself. I'm even devolving into my favorite pastime, bashing on Kyo Kusanagi. Let's get back on track. If you do want to hear more about why Kyo sucks and why Terry is better, then don't forget to like and subscribe for when I release the full Terry Bogard Game Hero History retrospective. This video is like a small teaser of what you're going to get in that. But I mainly want to break down everything we know about Terry Bogard in Street Fighter 6, and we know quite a bit following the hands-on demo at Gamescom a few weeks ago and the successive gameplay footage that's come out since. I already mentioned Terry's stage a little bit, but I want to start here because it's such an amazing homage to the character's roots that could also hint towards a lot more crossing over between the Capcom and SNK locker rooms in the not-so-distant future. First off, it's Pow Pow Cafe 6, the 6th location. That's important. For those of you who don't know, the Pow Pow Cafe in the SNK universe is a franchise of restaurants owned by a retired Street Fighter named Richard Meyer. Various Pow Pow Cafe locations have been featured as arenas in almost every Fatal Fury and King of Fighters game over the years. The fact that the 6th franchise location is possibly located in Metro City could signify the start of much more crossing over in the future between these two legendary fighting game industry giants. I'm not exactly sure what they're cooking back there in the Pow Pow kitchen, but it smells an awful lot like a big delicious plate of Capcom vs SNK 3, or a collection anthology at the very least. But that's just a theory, a Tiny Pirate Gaming theory. It was announced, it was revealed during a Nintendo Direct that another Capcom fighting collection is coming out next year, and within the assorted games on the variety of games within this collection will be two very important games, Capcom vs SNK and Capcom vs SNK 2. Which means that what they're cooking back there in the cafe, in the Pow Pow Cafe, is probably, most definitely, most likely, a Capcom vs SNK 3 or something even bigger that I'm not even going to theorize about for fear that it could destroy the potentiality of it happening within this timeline. So I will say no more upon this topic. Alright, that's Future Tiny Pirate. We're back on script. Get back on script right now. As I mentioned before, we also have some Fatal Fury cameos in the background, most notably Blue Mary, Terry's bestie, who a lot of people think is his girlfriend, and the Bogard brothers' best friend for life, Joe Higashi, the Japanese Muay Thai champion. He beat Rugal with a good old-fashioned punch to the dick in the KOF 94 timeline where Team Fatal Fury are the heroes, or as I like to call it, the appropriate timeline, the one we're all actually living on. There's some other Easter eggs too, but I'll save covering all that for the full retrospective. For now, let's move on to the real meat and potatoes, Terry's Street Fighter 6 move list.
Yeah, you know how it is. A guy's gotta have his meat and potatoes, you know?
I see.
So, Terry, what's the game plan?
Terry's got 4 key moves that are the core of his fighting techniques, all originating from his first appearance in Fatal Fury 1, and all important for his moveset to properly adapt him into a new fighting system. If any of these 4 primary techniques are missing, Terry feels off, as if the legendary Hungry Wolf has been defanged, but thankfully Capcom did Terry justice here as well, ensuring that all of these moves are included in the Street Fighter 6 variant of our favorite Bogard brother. I'm of course talking about the Power Wave, Burn Knuckle, Crack Shoot, and Rising Tackle. The Power Wave is Terry's primary zoning attack, a ground-based projectile that rolls across the arena floor. Performing the move with a heavy punch transforms it into the round wave, which in Street Fighter 6 can be used to knock your opponents airborne for some juggle combos based off the footage that I've seen. The round wave was originally introduced in Real Bout Fatal Fury as a way to attack opponents on the other combat lanes. The old Fatal Fury games had this awkward multi-lane battle system that was sometimes better executed than others, but regardless, it's a system that's been dropped by the franchise since Galro Mark of the Wolves, so I'm not really going to talk much about it in this video, just know that it's a thing that did exist. One final thing I want to mention about this move is the Overdrive version, which faithfully recreates the classic Fatal Fury 1 Power Wave animation. He is the king of fighters. Terry is absolutely getting the royal treatment from Capcom. The Burn Knuckle is also here in Street Fighter 6, allowing Terry to launch himself across the arena like a fatally furious lunatic who just lets it rip. Who cares if it's minus 1,000 on the frames? Because if you do land it, it'll be so worth it. Performing the Burn Knuckle with Light Punch results in an entirely new move that's called Quick Burn, and from what I've seen, it looks like it can be chained into target combos. The fighting labs are going to be fun in a few weeks when the legendary Hungry Wolf gets here. Terry's also got the classic crack shoot in Street Fighter, and it looks just as brutal as ever from the footage. Probably depending on the strength, the attack can deal multiple hits, works effectively as an anti-air, and as an overhead from what I've heard, making it even more dangerous than usual. Then there's Terry's Rising Tackle or Rising Taco, depending on who you ask. This move basically carried me through Fatal Fury 2 and Fatal Fury Special, and is arguably the best technique in Terry's toolkit. In most games, it's performed as a charge move, which I kinda liked because it made Terry stand out more and exemplified his unique fighting style by having both input commands in his move list. However, in Street Fighter, it's a DP input, which I also like because it makes the Rising Taco a more offensive move that fits with the average let it rip playstyle associated with most Terry players. The final special technique for this fatally furious fighter is the power charge, which is usually a half circle motion but has been simplified in Street Fighter to only a quarter circle. It's a shoulder tackle technique, and it looks like it can be chained into combos and probably cancelled into special moves or supers. In its earlier appearances, it's always been a combo chain starter, and in some games its combo chain is even directly linked to the power dunk technique, another fan favorite from the legendary Hungry Wolf. Speaking of target combos, this is where we get into our first Terry Bogard Street Fighter 6 controversy. The power dunk, one of Terry's most beloved techniques, has been changed from a DP kick into a target combo finisher. I honestly think that this was done to balance Terry and keep him from being way too OP. In most games where Terry has his full arsenal, he can be damn near god tier. Giving him both the Rising Tackle and the power dunk as DP inputs would have arguably broken the Street Fighter roster. Terry's not the king of fighters for nothing. The adaptability and versatility of his moveset is honestly what makes him so dangerous as a Street Fighter, regardless of which corporation is hosting the tournament. Unlike many other fighting game characters who stick to more traditional combat disciplines, Terry learned his moves on the streets, not in a mountaintop dojo, hence why he is the greatest superpowered Street Fighter there ever is, ever was, and ever will be. The only other target combo worth mentioning is the passing sway, which pays homage to the Fatal Fury lane switching mechanic by allowing Terry to shuffle behind his opponents to hit them with what I'm guessing will be an overhead, but again, until I get into the lab, this is just a theory, a Terry Bogard gaming theory. The only reason I suspect these of being an overhead is because the jumping lariat and jumping knee were both overheads for lane changing in the classic Fatal Fury games, something only a crazed Terry Bogard fangirl like me would know. Terry's also got his two most iconic super specials, the Power Geyser and the Buster Wolf. Apologies for not having images of these move inputs, but I have heard that they've been simplified from their usual commands. The level 1 super will be the Buster Wolf, which was first introduced in Garou Mark of the Wolves, in case you were wondering. It's flashy and it's neat, and it's where Terry's iconic voice line comes from, so of course it was going to be included. Are you okay with that? There's also a funny story about how it was first created at SNK, but I'll save that for the full retrospective series. The Power Geyser was Terry's first super special move and originated from Fatal Fury 2, where it appeared as a Desperation technique that could only be used when the health meter was flashing. In Street Fighter, it's his level 2 super, but it can be extended into a double geyser using Drive Gauge and extended again into a triple geyser by using more super meter, making this move a pseudo level 3 if you use maximum effort. Neat! Terry's level 3 super is something completely new and it looks amazing. It's like a Rising Tackle tornado into a mid-air power geyser that blasts through the opponent's chest like a Vegeta super move ripped straight out of Dragon Ball Z.
What was that? I couldn't hear you over that hole I made in your stomach.
Vegeta, please. Just give me a chance. We could work together.
Yeah, I've heard that bit already. Now let me put this in a way you'll understand. I'm about to blow my load all over your insides.
What the?
No homo.
What a legendary way to honor the Hungry Wolf and the anime-loving studio that created him. Now there's one final thing to talk about. It's also a bit controversial, but we gotta talk about the face. There's a lot of salt being spread about Terry's face, but let's be real, all the characters have funky faces in the Street Fighter 6 cutscenes, especially in World Tour mode. The way I see it, These are Street Fighters, of course their faces are rough, they're getting punched in all the time. We're used to seeing them at a side profile from a distance, so bad angles and awkward lighting can make even the prettiest of the Street Fighter 6 roster look weird. Besides, Andy Bogard is the pretty boy of the Bogard brothers, that's why he landed mine. Terry's always been more concerned with signing up for the next fighting tournament than he is about his appearance. If he wants to look pretty, he can pop a Rule 63 power-up and play for the girls team. He's done it before, and to be fair, he makes a much better looking chick than he does a dude anyway. I guess we can all thank Dmitry Maximov for this version of Terry. Damn gender-swapping vampires. And that's it, my first Terry Bogard video, the first in a long series covering the entire Game Hero history of the legendary Hungry Wolf. So if you're as much a fan of Terry Bogard as I am, then knock out the like button with a burn knuckle in round 1, and then smash the subscribe bell with the power geyser in round 2 for a clean sweep, so that you'll be notified as soon as I upload the next chapter in the Game Hero history of Terry Bogard, the legendary Hungry Wolf. It's a new era of content here on the Tiny Pirate Gaming channel, now that all of my grounded guides are finished and Obsidian Entertainment's no longer making new updates to that game. It's time for me to start expanding the brand to other things that I am passionate about. One of those things is Terry Bogard. As longtime fans of the channel might have suspected if you've ever watched my animated intro sequences that I usually put at the end of the video. I still try to stream Grounded every Wednesday on Twitch, so if you ever need more Grounded in your life, drop by and say what up. However, for the foreseeable future, it's going to be all about Terry Bogard's Game Hero legacy here on the YouTube channel. I'll also be streaming a crap biscuit load of Street Fighter 6 and City of the Wolves when it releases, so if that's your cup of tea, then swing by for a match or two. I promise to go easy on you. Besides, you're probably better than I am if I'm being honest, so you'll probably beat me up real good. Neat! Okay, see ya!
Are you okay? Blast the wolf!
Don't forget to like and subscribe. What up? It's me, Tiny Pirate Gaming, and if you're still watching, I just want to say thank you so much for your support. I hope that you enjoyed the video. It took me many months to film the gameplay, research SNK's poster boy, script and voice the series, and then finally edit it all together to produce this Game Hero history of Terry Bogard. Not to mention the days spent overcoming the unforgiving SNK arcade CPU of the early 90s to actually beat as many games featuring the legendary Hungry Wolf as I could get my degenerate fangirl hands on. I'm planning to produce more of the Game Hero history series in the future, so if you enjoyed this one and have any suggestions for who I should cover next from the Game Hero Hall of Justice, let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. It's the easiest way to show your support, and I really appreciate it. And if you need more Tiny Pirate Gaming in your life for whatever reason, then follow me on Twitch for live streams, or join the Discord where you can discuss gaming, content creation, and more, along with me and the rest of the Hashtag Tiny crew. Although it's usually pretty quiet over there, but, maybe you'll liven it up, so come on in! There's also links to unlisted secret videos that can only be found in the Discord that are related to my personal animation projects, so you can check those out too if you want. If you want early access to all of my videos before they go public, along with other perks and benefits, then you can also consider becoming a channel member. Now a special thanks to the S-Class channel members, Rambo Robbie. That's still the only one? I know there's more members now, but they gotta be S-Class if they want me to read their names. That's the whole point of the perk. I don't know, maybe we're doing something wrong. Anyway, whether I see you here in the comments, over on the Twitch sphere, or someplace else across the Streamiverse, thank you again so much for watching, and until next time.
Arg, matey, watch your step. There be a tiny pirate here.
Okay, see ya! Don't forget to like and subscribe.